Hi, folks. It's good to see you. I'm getting my chore boots on right now. I don't know if you can see. They are nasty dirty. Got them all rinsed off just so I can dunk them into the shit one more time. And then I get to do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And the next day. So, hey everybody. Good to see you. I got the orientation wrong on the last one. So, went up and then went back down. I was like, damn it, I gotta fix it. So, anyway, lots of hiding and waiting. So, oh, this is live. Did you do it right? You have your permission slip. That's all you need. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys want to walk on my chest for a minute? Or do you want to be in the barn? Which would be better? 12 inches of snow in 4 hours today. Hope this storm calms down before it hits you. Courtney, where are you at? You want to do some chest walking today? Okay. Let me get the needed supplies then. I'm gonna go get an extra coat. Give me 2 secs. I got the Trans Overcoat today. This live is not brought to you by Transova, but Baby Bells are. Without them would be possible, I guess. Here's one thing that people probably don't know about me. You're not at the right angle. I gotta fix my freaking boots, dude. This pisses me off. And a lot of people around here in this small town, they give me lots of shit for wearing skinny jeans. Because you gotta remember, I live in boots just like this about 10 months out of the year. Unless I'm putting up hay or that's about, I guess, riding a horse. But I don't do that very much. I should do it more. I'm always in a pair like these muck boots or neoprene boots. And so I buy a lot of skinny jeans. And so everybody thinks I'm a little hipster. Because I am at heart. I'm just shitting. But it's just so when I go to stick my legs in my boots, I don't have to deal with a bunch of wadded up denim. So if you ever run into me one day and you're like, nice skinny jeans, pretty boy, I'll be like, I always assume, am I gay because I get my eyebrows done and I wear skinny jeans? I'll let you decide. I don't fucking care anymore. So, but I do have 2 kids. So anyway, let's get this on. Don't fuck it up. And this jacket, man, is handy. This is like my favorite jacket that anybody's ever given me. It's got these cute little neoprene holsters. It's nice. Show up your pants and fold them over and tuck them in. I know, Cody, but that's so much more work. You can't quick draw into your mud boots. Looks like the goats are eating their food. That's a good sign. Nobody's protesting. So we'll take that. And been trying new styles on how to put my bra strap on that I'm trying to find a way that's not an absolute cluster like that. I still haven't found one that works. I always still end up jacking around with this thing forever. But yeah, no, it was super cool. Got kids entered up in the show today. Got all the stalls and trailer spots and all that stuff. It's a whole deal. It's more complicated to get your, if you've never been stock showing before, it's like an NFL or it's like a college tailgate times 10. Is it the same thing? Kind of. Everybody that's not involved drinks a lot of beer. But, yeah. I'm not going to feed you anymore. You got to go eat your shit. You guys haven't eaten a goddamn thing. Okay, test me. Can you hear me? Are you in my headphones? You can hear me. Can you hear me rubbing against my microphone? Okay, game on. We're gonna go walk it. It's been 2 days since I've walked the cows. Not really too concerned about the big cow herd. I've been driving around like a little creep with my binoculars, looking at cows and different numbers and stuff like that, because all of my pens are accessible from the road. I can drive all the way around all my pens, and my truck has a windshield and a heater, which is a really nice thing. So the ones that I can't scout out with the truck is a TV pen, heifer pen. So put you on my chest. We'll go walking. It's cold in the barn. It's 47 degrees. I had the doors open today, doing a little ventilating. Barn smelled just a touch sour this morning, and so I left it open all day. Let her, catch a breeze and air out just a little bit. But let's see here. I'm going to flip you around, and we are going. It's barely starting to snow. Had a light wave come through about an hour ago. Make sure you guys are good. All right. Stick of justice. We need one of those. One thing that's really cool is when Kent was trying to put heifers in last night, Striper fought him the whole time. And so we had to put 2 panels in and make a wing today, so that way the cows can, once you get them in the lane or in this alley right here against the wing, you can see they have nowhere to go, except the wind will blow the freaking gate shut. So let's just have a look. We're not going to bring them into the barn right now. I want to walk over and take a look at everybody. 111, there's a bag. I'll pull you out of your little holster here. Yeah, we're starting to loosen up a little bit. Remember, she's a second calver. Her bag's developed since I've been here. There's the one we doctored and gave a shot the other day. Look at this little red heifer, though. She's going to go. Oh, that Bolly's looking pretty close, too. She's going in the barn. Striper's going to go. I think I'm going to keep green number 4 out. She can gain some appreciation for the barn. See that girl though? She's ready to rock. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call Kent and say somebody's checking her tonight. She is tight, ready to go. As far as everybody else, even my second calvers are not near what she is. So, and that's a Willie baby that you see cooking up in there. So, put your tail down and quit scaring me. Thank you. Still a little lifted. She set it down and then she kind of picked it right back up. Yeah, she might be tonight with the storm. Very well could. I want to look at 88 and 75. They're right over here in the feeder. Good morning, ladies. Good afternoon. How are you? Let me have you a look. That one's got a bag. I didn't get a real good look at 75. Old Ruby. We might be stacking them in the barn tonight. See, she's nothing compared to the other one. She definitely got a bag. She's really loose. She's probably the loosest one here besides that other red one. But bag's not quite there yet. But little red heifer, she's coming in with me. She's going to go on house arrest. We are not going to let her have a baby in 5 inches of snow. You going to go this weekend? You going to go tonight? What you thinking? Clifford's going to be a damn grandpa. All right. Let's have an overview here. You can stay laying down. I wasn't going to put you away. All right. 25K turnaround. Let me see what you got. Oh, yeah, that's a Willie baby. You ain't even started. You ain't even warming up. All right. Nothing for you. 10. Let's see what you got, Mona. Nothing. Little one there. Not much at all. Look at the belly on that one. There's a big calf in that one right there. She's not even getting started. Who are you? 70. All right, let's have a look. Go look at the swamp cows. Ones that are just coming over here. There's Sugar Plum. Let's go have a look at her. Number 90. She's a psycho. Nothing for you. There's Squintz's mom. She's still a ways out. This is a heifer. No bag at all. All right. Nothing for 12. Nope, we're good. Good. The one I want to look at right here. 5. Nope, not you. All right. So I'm pretty confident we're not going to calve in the swamp tonight. Anything that needs to go in is in the staging pen, the staging area. I want that bolly in. I don't know which Bolly though. This 81 or 84. Which one? You 81. All right, I'm gonna try and cross the fence again and not drop you in the shit. All right. Who needs a gym membership? All right, come on. I gotta go get the damn gate. Shit. I'm gonna put one of these hay strings that's laying on the ground. I'm gonna tie this gate open. One of these. Fingers are chilly this afternoon. It's got cold. Heifer's eating tonight. See that red heifer? She's over there eating in the feeder. That's a good sign that she's not going to have one tonight. At least right off the bat. She'll at least wait till in the morning to have a calf. All right. All right, come on, Bolly. Give us a jack baby tonight. This one might be the first one that goes over the whole herd. That Bolly. Come on. I want to look at you real quick. Yep. Made the right call. You're staying out. Come on, shitheads. Shh. 88, you're going in too. Hey. Hey. Bitch. I'll swim after you. Go on. All of you. I'll sort you out in the barn. Ruby, get your ass in there. Hey. Come on. Hey. Get in there. Let's go. All of you. All of you. Shh, 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 shh. Hey. 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 If you have been in the barn before this year, I want you in the damn barn. This red one right here is a damn snake. Not horrible, but she's a shithead. There we go. I think I got everybody that I wanted, plus one or two extras. Look at that freaking bag. Hell of an udder on that old girl. Well, technically she's young, but go ahead. Find your spot. Push and shove. Two volunteers. Talking to you, dumbass. One volunteer in there. Come on. That's you, 88. Thank you very much. Little Red, go on with yourself. Go ahead, shithead. Go on. Shh. Thank you. All right. Red gets the nicest pin. The little one. Ruby, that's good fit for you. Go on, girlfriend. Oh, you bitch. That's why we can't have nice things. Really? Thank you. All right. I got 4 cows and 3 pens. I'm going to go. Barn kitty, get out. It's going to get nasty for you. I want the little red one right here. Right next to the goats. Go on, little red. Come on. Be photogenic like your dad. Thank you. Good girl. Go up there. Oh, you're so nice like your dad. Oh, God damn it. Come on. I'm going to set you guys up on your tripod. Okay. So everybody, so I want the red one in this bin. I don't care where everybody else goes. Kind of one of those, we'll see how everybody else wants to do it. They can pick. I want the red one in that closest one to you because it's a little bit nicer, a little less crap in it, but also really easy to poke your head in the barn and checker. So, come on, Red. Go on. Get up. Get up. Thank you very much. I'm going to pet you. I'm going to pet you. I'm going to pet you. Beautiful. I want I need one volunteer. That's a good choice. God, dumbass. I'm going to kick the green number 4-1 outside. She doesn't need it. We'll just hold this one that I think is really, really close. We're going to hold her in here until she gets evicted. Who shit on the panel? Right where I put my hand every time. God. Decrepit creatures. All of you. There we go. Good girl. Turn. Or not. One. Shh. Come on. Somebody pick right, somebody pick left. Come on. Thank you. Come on, 111. Get in your pen. Christ's sakes. You spent more time in this barn than any other cow in here tonight. And we can't figure it out. Thank you. All right. I'm going to break your heart because you're going back outside. She likes the barn. This little number 4 does. But she's not close. She's got enough training. Hot tamale, the little black ball. You get a room all to yourself, girlfriend. This one I think is going to cab by the weekend. I think. If I was a bet man. Come on. Time to do up everybody's panels. Shut the door so it can be warm. Number 4's out here begging in the alleyway, but she'll get over it. Enjoy your stay, ladies. All right. Let me swap this around here. Did I untie the gate? No. So the thing about that is I've been leaving that gate open just so they can use the that alleyway. We've road based that, like put some gravel down in that whole alleyway going to the barn. And so there's not near as much mud. We're not going to bed it. We're not going to encourage them to come into here and use the building as a windbreak, but if they want to come and get out of the mud, they're more than welcome to. So, not that big of a deal. Yeah, so there's 2 on the watch tonight. Yeah, Little Red's locked up. Which she's she's great. The shithead of the barn is that black Molly in the corner, that striper. She'll try and go under panels and over panels, and I think she just gets bored. The best time that, the best night that she's had in the barn is when you damn cat, is when I put her right here next to the goats, and she could watch the goats. But that's where I want the red one tonight. So, yeah, other than that, we're ready to go. I think 2 on the watch list, this red one, this red heifer, and then 81, the Bolly, the second calver. I think she's pretty close too. I think she's closer than she lets on. So, I think they're going to calve tonight. But, you know, whatever. And of course, instead of her begging to be on my lap, I might as well put her in my lap tonight so that way you don't have to listen to her be a ding-dong. So, any questions for me? I'm going to partake if you don't mind. Max is waving at you. Hi, Max. Yeah. Pretty sloppy. It's only going to get sloppier. But one day, it's just going to turn off warm. We'll dry the mud out, and we'll be having calves in the dust, hopefully. That's a big push. A lot of people, and I think I've talked about this before, but you know, a lot of people are like, oh my God, the mud. Why would you calve in the mud? Well, for us, calving in February, you dealt with frozen and bad storms and blizzards, but we would still be calving right now, but we'd be in the meat of it, man. We'd be, you know, right now 3 to 4 weeks into calving, you're still gonna have 4 or 5 a day. So the goal is maybe we're gonna fight for the first 2 weeks of it, but then after that we're gonna be in excellent condition. So yeah, hopefully 2 weeks to dry out. It all depends, Kelly, on how much the wind blows. The wind blows things out a lot quicker than I'd anticipate it. So, like for an example, when Kent was gone on vacation, it was really, really soupy when I came home from my trip. And we just had a bunch of snow, and it was really rough. And then 3 days straight, the wind blew. It was like we were in Wyoming. And then all of a sudden, there were spots in the pens that were dried out. And we were really starting to make some headway, and then we had that big storm come through. Kind of put us back to zero. So, Kent rebedded yesterday. I don't know how many straw bales he's used, but that guaranteed we've put over 25 3x3 by 8. That's the dimensions of the bales that we have. Over 20 straw bales, probably closer to 30 in the pens. So we're strawing almost every day, trying to give these girls something to stand on and yeah, that's the big fight right now. And what's frustrating is, you know, you go to Cody's house, which is an hour and a half, hour south, and looked pretty dry when I was coming through there yesterday. So, you know, and talking to Brandon, that's his hat he sent me. It's bone dry where he's at, and he's higher up in elevation, and he's about 2 hours southeast. Cody's a little bit southwest, Brandon's southeast, and it's just nuts. We're catching this band that kind of comes through and just nails right about the Utah-Idaho border, and it's kind of been that way all winter. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're working with. Let's see, trying to figure out what else to tell you about. Today, told you guys I got the kids signed up. One other thing is Watermaster season's getting closer. Not saying that it's going by any means, but definitely a lot more talk about the water. We're in really good shape. Should not be a short water year. So, yeah, Rogue Mermaid, what'd you end up with at your house? Can you show those that are close to calving up close? Yes. Taylor, here we go. Let's look. So, as you probably know, heifers are really tricky. You always have one that you think's going to calve that never calves. And then one that you didn't even think was going to calve is the one that calves first. So, the only difference is heifers will stall. They're kind of like a brisket when you're cooking it, right? Like there's a stall. You're making all this headway on the thermometer, and then all of a sudden it just like, it's almost like you turned off your smoker. And it stays the same temperature forever and ever and ever. And that's the way heifers are. Heifers will make up really early sometimes. And you're like, she's going to go. She's having that freaking calf. And she just will hang and hang and hang. And it'll be 4 or 5 days. So let's have a look. You got me? Are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah, the Starlink burped. Because I'm still hooked. I got full bars. We're good. Okay. Back to where I was saying. So this cow right here, this is one that I put a lot of money in early because she was one of our first calvers last year. I remember her. And if you look, I'm trying to get her to turn around for you. I'm trying to zoom out. Okay. If I can get her to look at, like, turn around. I'm gonna push her into the alley. So this cow, if you look at her from the side, you're like, oh, there's a bag started. And you look at her from the back, and her bag is building. But go on. Don't be afraid of the cat. But it's just not tight. So see how there's some slack and there's some wrinkle in the back of her udder? It's not full. She's not developing like I thought she would. She kind of has that look of she's starting, and when she started, she did this a week ago. And you see that udder right there, you're like, oh, we're starting. But see how she still kind of got some wrinkles. And sometimes that can be deceiving because their milk supply will come in a touch after they've started to calve. But if you look under her tail, she's not getting loose. Barn kitty, look alive. Jesus. So that's a look at one that I thought might go one of the first. But now I'll show you why I've changed my mind. Let me put you down real quick. Okay, so let's look at 81 here. Ooh, she might turn around. Yep, see how... Damn it. And I will say that if you're going to calve heifers, it's really tricky because you don't know their genetics. Okay? This cow, I remember her from last year because this is her second calf, and we calved her in the barn last year. She's got a jack baby, but her udder composition is completely different. She doesn't have a whole lot of milk supply, which it might be a little bit of a negative, but she raised a great calf this last year. So she did a really good job. But if you look, her bag is tight. There's not near as much wrinkle in the back. Let me see if I can get her to run away again. We can get you want to judge everything from the back. See how loose she is under the tail? When she walks, see how it's kind of like it's made of jello? She's loose, she's swollen. There's a baby getting ready to come through that thing. But there's not near the wrinkles in the back quadrants of her udder as the others. But if you look and you're comparing them side by side, you can barely see the front of her bag. You're like, that one's got a while. Until you look at the back, and you're like, no, that's just an uptight little udder. I mean, she's an A cup, but she's full. Okay, this one is like a C or a D. She's not quite there yet. You got to kind of realize her potential. Okay, but then let's look at this. Let's look at this red heifer. Like, she's definitely getting ready and her bag is there on 81. I'm going to say that's the first jack baby we see of the year. Is 81. But what's interesting is I'm fixing to go vary in length with this red heifer as soon as I can learn how to clip a gate one-handed. Got it. Okay. Little Miss Red here. So what's funny is her udder looks nothing like her mother's. This cow's going to have a big udder. And she must get it from her daddy, because she sure as hell didn't get it from her mom. So, see a little bit of visibility there. You're like, okay, for sure. See how more pronounced that is. Try not to have it zoom on my finger, but way more pronounced under her tail. It's a lot looser, a lot sloppier. She's comfortable though. We're not in any signs of labor. I mean, she's chewing cud, saying, "Really, what are we doing?" But let's look at her back, her back quadrants from the back. See how full that is. There's a little bit of wrinkle in that, but not much. And you got to remember that sometimes their bag looks like it's going to pop if you poke it. But then there's others that, like, that's developed enough. There's not a lot of wrinkle. But see how there's just a little bit of slack. It's not like it's going to pop, right? Well, sometimes after they have the calf, that will come in. And that's what we saw with the very first calf of the year is wasn't too excited about the bag that mom had or the udder. But the next day, after she had the calf and the calf had stimulated it, old girl's got, she's got a milk supply. So, yeah, she's definitely loose. And, you know, her body's changing. But is she going to have a calf tonight? Maybe. But for me, I would really like to see her in a little bit more discomfort. I want her to see her moving around, swishing her tail, not chewing her cud. That would tell me, you know, if we had a little bit of discharge, then I'd say tonight's the night. But she's pretty well there. Last week when we were putting her in the barn, she wasn't near developed in the back. She developed the front out, but she wasn't near this full in the back. The last 3 days, she's really come on. And Kent's wondering about tonight. He says, you let me know what that red heifer looks like, and I'll drive out at midnight, 1 o'clock, and take a look at her. So, you think Striper's going to go Thursday too? Yeah, I think we're definitely going to have calves this week. I do. I'd prefer them to wait till the bad weather passes, but, you know, at least we're prepared as we're ever going to be. So let them have it. So this is number 5. You wouldn't know that, but she's lost her tag. This is a Clifford daughter. So as soon as she has this calf, Clifford will be a grandpa. And that's what I talk about so much about, like, buying bulls and Jack and Clifford is when I make these decisions to buy these cows and buy these bulls, we're definitely, we're seeing reflections of those bulls go on through generations, right? Like, we will see Clifford for 20 years because if that one has a heifer, if this red one has a heifer, that's out of Willie, and I really like the way that Willie is bred. And so, and I think that this heifer's great. So we're going to see that magnify. And also, this is the one, this red one right here. I have a full brother to him, but he came out brown instead of red. And I think I'm going to keep him as a bull. We'll see how he turns out, but yeah, we're really, really optimistic. And so you see these bulls, their legacy gets passed on to their cow herd forever. And that's why, you know, some guys, they'll buy what's called the terminal bull. They know they're not keeping any calves out of them, but they just want to sell calves. So that's the, that's the terminology for that. For us, we want a herd bull. We want something to develop the herd. That's why he's a herd bull. So we want to keep daughters and sons and things like that. So I did break Dar's heart the other day, though. I let him walk through the fall herd, and I was kind of showing him the ones that I wanted to keep, and he's like, you got to remember, you still got to buy some for me. I'm like, I know. But that's what happens when you work with like a really good reputable breeder is they sell you good stuff, right? They don't sell you some 3-legged crippled cow. They want to see you succeed, and that's what Dar's done with me. And so, like, a lot of credit to Dar on this whole shenanigan that we all find ourselves in. But get you back on the tripod, and you don't see this in California? Is Mr. Bushman taking a late night drive? I'll leave it up to him. I'll kind of tell him what I'm seeing, and you know, I'll say Red's chewing her cud. Kind of watching a Bali heifer, but for the most part, everybody looks comfortable. Everybody looks like they're tucked in. Could it change in 4 hours? Absolutely, it could. But just too soon to tell. And it's kind of day by day or moment by moment with these heifers. So, the bad thing is, the reason why you don't see this in California is because you're calving in really good weather in California. And so a lot of these cows, they get calved out on pasture. I swear to God, you cat. But, yeah, so a lot of these guys will run cows out on pasture where they'll just come and check them. So they don't have to baby them and put them in a barn like we do because we're trying to calve them in 4 feet of mud or 4 feet of snow. Take your pick depending on the year. So you're 30 minutes from Beverly Hills. There you go. Well, send some warm weather and sunshine my way, will you? Yeah. Any other questions for me? I'm about ready to bounce out of here and give Mr. B a report. I'll be here in the morning. I'm going to turn some heifers out. My question to you, though, is do you want to see live chore content and like mornings? And I imagine it's all going to change, right? Once we start having a bunch of calves all the time. Because once we get in the middle of it, we're going to start having, 8, 10 a day for a little while. For sure 4 or 5. And I want to keep you guys posted on that, but also, especially with the playback feature, if it's something you guys want to watch, I'll try and put like in the description, like kind of what I think's going to happen or what I want to show you guys and that whole thing. So, yeah, only in YouTube. Okay. No, and that's kind of what I'm thinking is we'll try and boost the YouTube content just a little bit. TikTok, I don't know. TikTok does not like me for some reason. God bless them. I think it's probably because I'm putting out some shitty content, but golly, I can't find the algorithm. So yeah, we're just going to roll on YouTube for a little while. And I really like the playback feature and the fact that you guys can watch on TV and my kids can watch on TV. So, yeah, maybe we'll go live for, it's kind of like a morning update, It'll be about a half hour. That's usually what it takes me is it's about a half hour to come in here, let the heifers out, see what we're doing, kind of do an inventory on, is there anything that's barn worthy tonight? Is there anything that we need to keep in the barn? And also, I'll be going out and feeding the cows that have calved. So you can see babies and all that whole thing. And we can kind of check and also, just a bunch of stuff. Because it's really hard on TikTok because I feel like I'm walking on eggshells there with live, and I think a lot of other creators do too. To where, like I don't want to vaccinate a cow, or or do protocol on a calf necessarily on TikTok. I don't want to catch a deal. But also, as soon as I get off of live on TikTok, once it happens and it's aired, you can't go back and watch it. So, yeah. I think that's kind of the way we're going to go, and we'll kind of post some highlights to TikTok and things like that. Keep everybody in the loop. So, but yeah, I think by the weekend we'll definitely have some new calves, and I think we're going to see 2 of them at least in the barn. There's a couple out in the big pen that look somewhat close, but they didn't look tonight for me. So. That all could change once the storm blows in, and that's a cow's favorite thing to do is lay down in a blizzard and have a calf. So, how long do I have to deal with the elk in our area? I'd say it just depends on the snow, but we don't have a lot of snow right now, and there was 150 head just to the north and to the east about a mile. So they're still around. But they're on their best behavior. They're not getting any elk or getting into any haystacks. because all the fields are bared off, and so they're going around to all the lava patches and in everybody's fields and eating the grass, which, by God, let them do it. So, but typically when elk are a big problem or a headache for us is when we have a lot of snow. So that's, yeah, the elk didn't even try the hay fence this year, which is surprising to me. Had a little bit of an issue of them coming in and harassing the fall cows just a little bit, but when I got permits to take care of the issue, they were playing by the rules every time. So, yeah, and that's great. That's the way we want it. So, but yeah, do I still have to put out water buckets and hay for each stall? No. So all of our cows, unless they have, so say we have a heifer that's having a hard time being a mom, or we have a sick baby where we want the cow confined all the time in the barn, then we'll break out the feed and the water. But for the most part, we really try to not have hay or water in the barn. But we will turn the cows out. So the cows are never they're never in here for longer than 10 or 12 hours. And that's a long time, like a long case. And so that means that we tuck them in at 8 and sometimes they'll go out at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, the good thing is we want them in here. We want them focused on calving. And a lot of times if they have a calf that's struggling, where we're trying to work with them, we'll put a little bit of feed in to kind of maybe distract mom just a little bit, and give her something to calm down. Put some hay in front of her and kind of let that calf do its thing. But for the most part, we're trying to keep the barn as clean as we can. And like you said, like you saw, I picked up a lot of these cows from the hay barn, or from the hay bin, the feeder. We pulled them off of feed just barely. A lot of these cows are standing around chewing their cud. And they're going to sleep just like like people don't think that cows sleep, but you come out here at 2 o'clock in the morning and everybody's laid down and they're chewing their cud. So right about first light, they'll get up and start moving around just a little bit. So we kick everybody out in the morning, let them soak for a couple hours where they have access to unlimited feed, unlimited water. And then, they'll be out there all day unless they have a calf or they're going to calve. If they're going to have a calf, then they come right back in the barn and they don't want to eat or drink anyways because they're in the middle of labor. But like all these cows, they got kicked out about 8 o'clock this morning and then we just barely brought them in. So, yeah, hope that provides a little clarity. He wants you to check out the browse. I am the browse. It was funny. Kent went to Express Ranches. And if you don't know who Express Ranches are, Express Ranches is like one of the most prestigious ranches in the nation. So they're known for having great big black draft horses and excellent... I'm not zoomed in. Now I am, Cody. I'm trying. I'm zoomed out. I'm zoomed all the way out. You're on the front camera, or on the back camera, so I can read comments. But anyway, Kent went to Express Ranches, and they have a ranch manager, and the ranch manager apparently follows me on TikTok. Kent was kind of describing my content, and the guy says, "Oh yeah, the guy with the really bushy eyebrows." And he's like, "Yep, that's my son-in-law." He told me that today. I was like, "Holy shit!" I says, yeah, the damn eyebrows. I can't do nothing about them. I was born with them. Bad thing is my kids are too. So, yeah, I would like to put cameras up in here, but in all reality, then you guys would miss out on content. I'd come out, put them in the barn, and then I'd just leave. I'd drink beer in front of the fire. Kent does not have a wife, and he is available. He's on TikTok. Shoot your shot in the DMs. You can find him. His handle is Kent Bushman. He's like the only Kent Bushman. But anyway, any mamas close to cabin? I got two. I got those two right there. Yeah, Kent got a TikTok, so that way he told me, I says, oh, you got a TikTok? And he says, yeah, that way I can see if you're talking shit about me. I went, oh, he must have saw the couch video. But, yeah, so Kent is, and it's funny because I'll do something at the farm while he's gone, and I'll do a video about it, about me doing it, and why I'm doing it, or whatever. And he's like, you cat, get. Sorry, that was the cat's fault. But yeah, so Kent watches my TikTok pretty close, because he'll call me and be like, hey, saw you did this on the video. And that's exactly why we went to YouTube. So, I got to keep switching up the platforms on him. But that would be really handy, though. Because then he could see and he could make his own decision on if he wants to come out here tonight. So, let's see. There's 100 people on here. So do you guys want to hear the drop story? You should be commenting on here. He doesn't know how to comment. He just watches. So he tell me about it. While he was in Oklahoma, he went to Texas and he went to his first Buc-ee's of all time. And he thinks that is just the neatest shit of all time. Didn't even know it was a thing. He says, oh my God, I went to the gas station and they have everything. And I says, oh really? What's it called? And he's like, it's called Buc-ee's. It has a beaver. He's like, I've never seen a gas station with a beaver logo. And I was like, dude, that thing is world famous. And so anyway, he got schooled by his daughter about how out of touch he is. But he definitely learned what Buc-ee's was. But drop story. I'll tell you about it. Let me hurry and see if I can find a drink. And I'm going to put the cat in the room. So, I'm back. I'm out of Palmer's, so we got a bottle of water. I got a quarter of one left. But, so this is kind of a long and drawn out story of how I've spent 60 days in a tent living in Alaska. One of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. Well, two of them. Had two experiences. So the first time was about 30 days. And then I guess I'm just shy of 60 days. Other one was like 23 or 24 days. What's so crazy is we're so connected to the outside world that it's funny. If you guys ever watched Alone on the History Channel, and I think it's on History. Anyway, you watch Alone, and these guys, they start. You have a bunch of people that drop out. And, like day one, day two. And it's because there's like a primeval switch that will flip in you when you realize that, like, you are it. Like, there is no Googling, no YouTubing, your phone doesn't work. I mean, the best thing you can do is shut your phone off. And because it's useless to you. So anyway, there was a contest. There was some brothers. It's found on YouTube. There's brothers Pennsylvania, but they live in Michigan now, or at least they did. I'm pretty sure they still do though. So they live in Michigan, and they had this idea one night when they were at a bar drinking whiskey, and they says, what if somebody got dropped off in the middle of Alaska with nothing but a camera, and it was a hunt to survive scenario, and like he just documented it of what happened. No storyline, no nothing. You're just dropped off on a river. You got to get from A to B in 30 days, and you do what you can. Well, the first season went phenomenal. It was a huge hit. And then they did like second season, third season. Funny at the time when we submitted the submission tape, my dad had just been deemed cancer-free. He had a brain tumor, and they were able to operate on it, gave him some good radiation, and they selected us. I got a call one day. I was at work, and they're like, "Where's your dad?" And so I drove home. I was like, "Oh, let me get a hold of him." We come home, we get on a Zoom call, and we find out that we win. We're supposed to meet him in Anchorage, Alaska in like 45 days. So I pretty much quit my job, tell my job that I'm going no matter what. Your job is to let me know if I am still employed when I show up after this whole thing goes down. So we meet him in Anchorage. We go to fly out, and you're out of we flew out of Bethel, Alaska, and you're in an airplane hangar about the size of this barn, and you're waiting. So there's two brothers, and each one of us, we learn when we get to Anchorage, we thought we were going to hunt together. Well, turns out each one of us goes with a brother, and there's two separate camps. The idea is we're going to get dropped separately on two different rivers, but there's a confluence of the rivers, and at day like 21, we will meet at the confluence of the rivers, and we'll go home. We'll spend like the last 7 days together. Well, so there's two hunters, me and a brother, and then two camera guys. Two camera guys per tent, which means that there was a total of a camp of 4 with each group. That's what it consisted of. So I get dropped off on this big lake, or I get ready to get dropped off. My dad and every good weather, they get in the plane, they go. Well, the day that we get there, they fly my camera guys out because they want to film me flying in to land in the hunting spot, right? Where we got dropped off. Well, they flew the camera guys in. It was only supposed to be about an hour flight. And finally, at like an hour before dark, the pilot comes back alone. And he says, "Man, the weather's so bad. We tried to come over the mountains and drop down, and he says the storm was in there. He said I had to bank and go to a little village, fuel up the airplane again. We end up flying up the river." He said, I says, "They find a good spot to camp?" He says, "I don't know." I chucked their bags onto the bank and said, "I got to go if I'm going to make it out alive." And that's saying something, because if you've never met an Alaskan bush pilot, they're absolutely nuts. To put it in context, that pilot, his name was Zach Babbitt, he passed away in a plane crash 2 years after this happened. 2 years after I went to Alaska. And great guy, but he's wild, just living on the edge. Because a lot of those planes, they fly by sight. Mountains aren't documented, and so You hit a bank of fog, and it's pretty easy to, all of a sudden, a mountain comes out of nowhere. He actually crashed because of a midair collision with another bushcraft. But anyway, the camera guys, they got kicked out with a tent, a rifle, and a food ration. And since it was a TV deal and we were guests, they kept a duffel bag full of food for a ration. Okay, an emergency kind of some type of insurance, liability type of thing. So we couldn't directly starve. I come in at 165 or 170 pounds. All said and done, I left at 145 pounds, and you could see my rib cage. So we went there, and you can watch kind of all what happened. We fly in the next day. You can kind of watch what happens throughout the series. There's a lot of cool shit that they edited out that I wish they would have kept in. I learned the power of editing, which is totally fine. It's up to them. No harm, no foul. But there was like excellent footage of me. I reeled in this gigantic salmon. I mean, this salmon is freaking huge. And they didn't tell me they were filming. And so there's a moment where I crash this salmon on the bank and I go and pick it up. And they're like, Kate, how's Alaska? And I said, this is fucking awesome. And they're like, say that again, but don't swear. But it wasn't near as genuine because I had to act, right? When I missed the moose, I'd sat in a tent for 4 days. Finally got the moose. Beautiful, the bull of my life stands up. And what was interesting is they edited the shots backwards. So the second shot on film, as you guys will see in the show, was actually the first shot, and the second shot where he was standing broadside was actually the second shot. And I'll let you kind of watch the rest of it from there. But one of the craziest stories is, so we didn't get a moose, but in all reality we got a moose. And let me tell you stories. Crazy how the world works, and I don't know what you call it. I don't know if it's God or everything happens for a reason, but there was a guy that they knew from Utah. We'd never met this guy. And they keep talking about this badass cowboy named Ernie. Ernie's got a great big handlebar mustache, and just like the guy thought both brothers thought the world of this guy. We went on the trip, and we had to wait a whole year for them to air it. Well, when they go to air it, my dad and I go to a sports show or a hunting trade show. And it wasn't like to make an appearance or anything. We were just going. And there was this guy that hit my dad up in the bathroom. And he's like, I believe we have a mutual friend. My name's Ernie. And we're like, holy shit. Well, my dad and Ernie end up becoming really good friends through it all. You just like staying in touch, and this, like I said, is a year after the fact. We met Ernie, and he helped us. My dad drew a Utah moose tag, and he helped us a lot, told us where to go, got us in contact with a bunch of cool people. And my dad built a real friendship with Ernie, and it turns out that the year after we shot that moose, I think Ernie, so we went in 14, it aired in 15, and then in 16 or 17, we hunted the moose, and Ernie passed away. And it was just a weird deal, kind of got meningitis, got sick. He was really young, he was 59, I think. And it broke my dad's heart. And but anyway, we wouldn't have never had that great experience in Utah if we didn't have that Alaskan experience. And it was great. It was kind of one of those things like, oh man, don't you wish you shot a moose? And it's like, nah, I think everything worked out great. We did try to go back 4 years ago. My dad and I and another friend of my dad's, Matt. There was 3 of us. We got dropped in a tent. We stayed there for... Oh, shit, man. like I said, we were 20 something days. We weren't quite 30, but didn't shoot a moose then either. And I think that's the biggest illusion in Alaska is everybody thinks the big moose run around everywhere. They don't. And but the biggest thing is I would recommend it to anybody because it's personally transformed me both times. Like there's the old saying that no man ever steps in the same river twice because the river changes and the man changes the next time he steps in the river. And so, and it's 100% a real thing. I feel like the first time it kind of like I turned into a man, and then the second time I had a lot different grasp on reality. Did a lot of alone tent thinking for a long time, days and days and days, and because you don't have a rainstorm that sets in for 10 minutes, you have rainstorms that set in for 3 days. And so, anyway, both of those experiences are phenomenal. And don't worry, I've still got my moose. We just go to Canada, found a deal with a little better moose population, and they're different kind of moose, but man, it's a great time, and get to spend a whole lot of time with my dad. So, yeah, Kelly, it killed you when I missed the moose last night. So here's the bad thing: I couldn't tell anybody anything for a whole year. So just when, like, we had watch parties and we'd sit down once a week, everybody'd come over, we'd watch an episode, and everybody would like keep saying, you know, because if you look, there's a trailer. I'm sure there was a trailer out on YouTube that where I take the shot, right? And everybody's like, "Man, you hit that moose. I know you hit that moose. I could hear I could hear it hit flesh," and I had to like play dumb and like, well, I don't know, we'll see. And it was one of those things that everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe you missed. And I can't believe that happened. And I remember, so in my camera crew, there was 2 guys. One was in charge of like getting wide angle photography and stuff. And the other one, he was what they call the field producer. And his job is while everything's happening, he's trying to put a storyline in his head to where, okay, this is, you know, yesterday was episode 1, and you know, I need a little bit more footage of you catching fish, you know, that whole thing. And we sat in a tent for in that 4-day rainstorm, and couldn't have a fire because it would flood the tent, and the river rose a bunch, so we had to get out of the tent in the middle of the storm and move the tent. And the whole time he just sat there and he's like, we need Cade to kill a moose. We just need him to get a moose, and it's a done deal. We have that's the story. That's all we need is the moose. And so when we shot at that moose, the field producer broke down and started crying. He literally started bawling. And there was nothing that we could do. And I just sat there and laughed. It was like, I missed that one, man. I don't know what happened. And there's a part of me, like, I know when I make a bad shot, just because I'll be like, all right, there's a routine. You know, you get your breathing cycle down and that whole thing. And I went through it all, and the shot felt good, but it just didn't connect. And an Alaskan Yukon moose, it's like shooting at the side of a barn. I mean, they're really hard to miss. And so I was like, man, I don't know what happened, but it felt good, and I just didn't hit. And I started laughing, and that guy was bawling. And he made the other guy go shoot the gun. And he's like, I got to figure out, you know, was it Cade or was it the gun? Let's figure this out right now. So thank God it was the gun. So did I document the second trip? Not a whole lot. There's some clips on Instagram from the second trip, but who has time to breathe and get steady? Yeah, I did. I sat on that bull for 5 minutes waiting for a shot. And like, I had ice water in my veins and I pulled the trigger. I felt, if there was one that I should have hit, it was that one. But I didn't. So, but the whole thing is I had to wait a whole year, and kind of give a politician answer of like, well, you know, I just can't wait for you to see it, or, you know, couldn't really tell anybody anything. And then the night that it aired where I missed the moose, I puked in my toilet. Because that was my first, like, I'd spent all year trying to go through the mental gymnastics of like, what the hell could I have done to change the outcome or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, yep, there it is, and the whole world just saw it, man. So, but yeah, it was interesting. Do I still talk to the brothers? I haven't talked to them since Ernie passed away. So they were the ones that let me know that Ernie passed away, and that whole thing. He follows me on TikTok, and I think we follow each other on social medias and stuff, but he's doing his own thing, and like, it was a great time, and I thank him so much for it. It was a trip of a lifetime, but yeah, just kind of one of those things, right? So any other questions about Alaska or anything? We're at in Utah. Were the Utah moose? The Utah moose was the Morgan South Ridge. Was where that was. We went and hunted right on the edge of the desert, packed horses in, and it was a phenomenal experience. So, let's see here. So how much of it was I with my dad? I saw my dad when he got in the airplane, and I saw him when I got out of the airplane, both at the airplane. So we spent 30 days apart. So we spent our time in Anchorage together, but in the whole grand scheme of things, we were supposed to see each other the last 7 days, but due to the rain, the river got really high and it braided really, really good, and so we didn't go any further down. So, what season was I in? It was September during the moose hunt, the moose season. So, was it actually my gun or theirs? It was their gun. So, that's a bummer that you didn't get to experience that together. Yeah, I agree, but we that's one of the big drivers of why we went back, is we got to experience that together. And I was there when my dad got his moose this last year, and when he got his Utah moose, my dad's a moose snob. He's killed 5 or 6 of them. He loves, that is his favorite animal in the world. He loves hunting moose, and they're magical, and it's great. But we were there when we did the Utah one. It was just me and him. That was it. Creed was a little baby, and we would go and check these trail cameras, and there's a couple different hikes that are a couple miles long, and Creed was just a little infant, and I had one of those little backpacks for a baby, and I would go hiking along this trail and check trail cameras, and we were getting ready to, it was the night before the opening day of the moose hunt. We're saddling horses, getting ready to ride into the backcountry, and this guy shows up, and I have a sawed-off boat paddle, and that's what you use to call moose. It sounds, when you hit a boat paddle, a wooden boat paddle against the brush, it sounds a lot like a moose scraping the brush. So I had this boat paddle, and this guy shows up, and he's like, "You guys moose hunting?" He says, yeah. Well, it turned out to be another tag holder, and there was 3 tag holders, right? And so there was my dad, the guy that pulled up to us, and then there was somebody that we didn't know. And the moose guy that pulled up, he's like, "Man, there was a guy," he says, "I know who the other tag holder is." And my dad says, "Oh, really? You know who it is?" And he says, "Yeah, there's this guy that he's been walking around checking trail cameras with a baby. He's just like super dedicated. He's taking this little baby everywhere, all across the mountain." And I went, "Oh, that's me. That's my little boy Creed." And like I said, he wasn't even a year old. He was 8 months. He was 8 months old, and I'd go take him trail camera, or hiking and checking trail cameras and stuff. So But yeah, it's available on YouTube. I never knew they were going to put it on YouTube. But yeah, dropped Project Be Alive is the season, the 4th season. And no, it was awesome. It was amazing. It totally, it kind of gives you a reality check, because I was a high, I was kind of a high-headed little teenager kid, and all of a sudden it was like, yeah, you're gonna see some grizzlies, man. I saw 11 grizzlies in 9 days, and you'll see some of that footage in there. But like, I don't know, I thought I was gonna die. I gave Lindsay an engagement ring, and it was kind of more or less like, here's something to give you if I die. And yeah, so I got engaged to Lindsay about a month before I left. And then yeah, it kind of smacked me with reality and truth, because it's interesting. You get dropped off, and we're so consumed with our phone, and I'm horrible at it. But you know, you're used to picking up your phone and calling your dad for help, or calling your friend, or talking to your neighbor. And this last time that we got dropped off, they take 2 trips in. They'll send the first guy in with the tent and the gun and the food, and he'll get started on putting camp together. And then the pilot will go back to the hangar, pick up the second hunter, and grab most of the non-essential gear and the other hunter, right? And so this last time that I got dropped, I was the fly-in guy. And so you get dropped off, you're on a beach of a lake that's gigantic, and you think it's all going to be okay, and then all of a sudden you realize, you hear the plane fly away, and then it's silence. And there's nobody there but yourself. And yeah, you're sitting there fumbling, trying to go through instructions on how to put a damn tent together, because you can't YouTube it. And it's just funny things that you don't realize all the time. Like the first time that I got dropped, so I got dropped, and we were in an outfitted area. There was an outfitter that wanted to hunt where we got stranded on the high river. So this guide flies in after I'd already missed the moose, and he says, "Hey, what's your plans? Like, I have another moose hunter. I'd really like to hunt this area. Are you guys gonna float down the river?" You know, the guy shows up in a bush plane and asks us this, and we're like, "No, we're gonna stay here, and you know, we're gonna get out in a couple days. Our ride's gonna come pick us up." And he says, "Okay, sounds good." I've starved, and literally it was starvation. Okay, to give you an idea, we had a pack of ramen noodles in the insurance bag, the duffel bag full of food. There was a pack of ramen noodles, right? It's like you buy it at the store for 65 cents. We split that package of ramen noodles between 4 guys, and we were all full. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so full I can't eat another bite, because your stomach is shrunk so much. Like, this is a little personal, I guess, but my calorie intake was so low. In 30 days, I shit twice. That's it. Like, you're starving, you're running on low intake, and you're not eating, and it's fine. It's a little tricky when you get lightheaded every once in a while, but once you kind of learn how to make that work, you know, and you learn how to fire off of it, it's pretty much the forced keto diet. It's pretty much what I was on. Because we'd go shoot some ducks or cook a salmon, but we didn't have any, like, grains and stuff, because we wanted to save our rations for bad shit. So anyway, I was starving, and this guy was like, "Man, the guy that asked if we were going to move down the river, he says, he says, you boys look like you're hungry. And we're like, dude, I'm so fucking hungry. It ain't funny. He's like, I actually going to go, I'm going to fly one of my moose hunters home and they have some extra food. He's like, I'll drop it off to you. I'll drop it out the airplane. And I said, okay, sounds good, right? We all agree that was a good idea. So this guy lands up on this ridge right where I'd shot this moose, and I'd done this hike every day. And it took us about 45 minutes to get up to this flat spot where he could land a plane. We sat down together, and we're like, if the plane shows up, how do we figure out who's going to get first pick of whatever he brings? And I was like, I'll go get it, but I want first pick. I'll go get the food all by myself, but I want first pick. I made that hike in 15 minutes and got the food. There was chicken fingers, like chicken strips. There was caribou sausages. And the biggest thing that will blow your mind is there was a loaf of bread. And I had taken toast for granted my whole life. I ate 6 pieces of toast over the fire. Like, I'd sit there and hold a piece of bread and toast it over the fire. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. I cannot believe, like, I don't understand why people don't want toast for breakfast. I'll eat toast every day. And so it's just very interesting when you realize how easy that we have it now in our society. And, you know, it's like nothing to go through a drive-through and you have a menu of 37 different things you could pick, and it's all ready right now. Whenever you want, it's right now. It's just a completely different thing. But it builds a lot of mental toughness, and I think it builds faith, a lot of faith, because you realize that, like, you are not in control. You're not in control of your life and your destiny. Like, yes, you can have goals, and you can do this, and you know, that, you know, like a rainy day doesn't stop you from going to work. But all of a sudden, lightning cracks and it's a downpour, and then you realize, if I go out there and I get soaked to the bone and we can't start a fire, I'm going to die tonight. And so it's just, I don't know. I have a completely different perspective on life and things for spending that much time out there, and I would recommend it to anybody. But don't go for 3 days, don't go for a week. Do it for at least 2. Whether that's fishing or hunting or whatever, you can go and get real life perspective for really cheap. All you got to do is pay for the airplane fuel for somebody to drop you off. And, man, it's so cool. So, Donna says, check your P.O. box. Thanks for the chomps, Donna. I got them today. So, how cold is it at night? 30, like, there was a good frost most nights. It was 30 degrees-ish the first time. First time, no mosquitoes, no bugs whatsoever. But it got cold. It was, you know, low 30s, hard frost. And remember, you're out there on the edge of the ocean in Alaska. The humidity's super high. And so it'll chill you to the bone compared to Idaho. And so the second time was a little warmer, but that means mosquitoes. And I would take the cold over the mosquitoes any day of the week. The mosquitoes are really, really rough. I'd hold my binoculars. I had a face net, right? I'd hold my binoculars up to so I could glass looking for moose. And the flies would chew right around where the net was pushed up to my skin, and it almost swole my eyes shut. And it wasn't because I'm allergic. That's just how many bites I got. So it was a really cool experience, though. Like I said, I would recommend that to everybody. So, tell us about Brandon's package. Brandon wrote me a really, really nice note. He gave me this hat, and he gave me, is it Jack's? It's like an old school game, and I don't even know how to play it. I got to Google on how to play it. But he wrote me a really nice note, and it was a great pick-me-up. And then Donna sent me some chomps, so I could have a snack in the calving barn, which is great. Kelly Kent's right, or the red's right there. She's doing the old butt itch. So, yeah. She looks good, though. She looks pretty comfortable. I think she's fixing to lay down for the night. I don't even know what pogs are, Cody. But you can see everybody's laid down for the most part. Except everybody on that side of the barn is not, they're not down. They will, though, as soon as I turn the lights off. So, but for the most part, everybody looks pretty comfortable. We're looking at 49 degrees in the barn right now, which is just right. And, yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what pogs are. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go tonight. And thanks for tuning in on the live. And I really, really hope that we start having some babies. So, Cody's way older than me. Like by 5 years. I'm just shitting. We're pretty damn close. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate it. I don't know why you guys tune in for so damn long, but thank you so much for doing it. And, yeah, be watching for updates. And, yeah, once we get through this storm, I think we're going to rain a lot of babies. But I'm thinking for sure we're going to have 2 in the next couple days. So, with that said, have a good night, everybody. Stay safe and think about baby calves when you go to bed tonight or something. All right?